everyone, it's Mr. Fix again, and it's Saturday, and I'm in a blizzard on top of a mountain, and inside for the day, no doubt about it. What I'd like to do with this podcast is to address the last comment on my last podcast, which was done by only me. This is for you, and the topic is truth. You can go back and read that comment anytime you wish. But in essence, it was a discussion between two people on whether the truth is even knowable. Somebody that had drawn the conclusion that not in this world. I realized that that is actually a religious belief taught in the biblical doctrine of things, that you have to take a lot of things on blind faith, and that the truth isn't knowable. I've come to disagree with that, and here are some of my reasons. If you start exploring these issues of the current, state of affairs and realize that nothing makes any sense, I think it's actually easy to come to the conclusion that the truth is not knowable. And you could easily just dismiss trying to figure it all out. That's the end of the world. Let's put it this way. I would consider that point of view intellectually lazy. There are people that have dedicated their lives to figuring this stuff out. I've mentioned some of them, okay? Jordan Maxwell's been looking at this for 60 years now, okay? Digging and digging and digging, going all over the planet. And said, I just want to figure out what the truth is. Okay. David Icke is another one. He's been looking and looking. Michael Tellinger, he does it from a perspective of from South Africa, and he's painted a picture of history that goes back 100,000 years. Okay. He's actually dated the artifacts by the patina that grows on the stones and things like that. There's a scientific explanation for what he's figured out. If you take Michael Desarion, he's worked with the Celtic, myths and legends, and exploring the ruins from the Druids and things like that. He's painted a picture. Now, a lot of the archaeological evidence is agreed upon. A lot of the texts that have been interpreted in the modern day, those aren't in dispute. Okay. But you can draw different conclusions, based on your perspective of things. And at some point, you do have to decide for yourself. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Okay? Because then that helps you discern the next step. If you're listening to somebody else and say, he's just way off base on that, And a picture does start to develop. And as you get further and further, it gets a little murky if you're trying to figure things out that happened 100,000 years ago. But if you're looking at the current day, what's happening today, that starts to get crystal clear. What's happening today, most of them agree on. All right? Certainly the ones that have gone to the trouble to build the picture, all the way through history. So what I would say is keep looking. The rabbit hole is deep, it's wide, it's broad. There's a lot of people in it, and they're all looking at their own little version of events. The more you explore, the more you figure it out. Now, here's some things about truth. It's simple. It makes sense. It may be totally outrageous from, your worldview before you started looking at these things. But it's not complicated. I think a lot of the complexity has been built into our system just to confuse everyone. It's really not that hard to figure out if you really start looking at it. Okay? A picture will start to appear. If you've been at this for 3 years, I think you know that by now. As far as your friend, and I'm addressing this to, only me, it's very easy for a worldview to get totally rocked. Like if you had all along accepted a source as, indisputable, and then all of a sudden it starts to, well, maybe it is disputable. That can change somebody's worldview so radically that you could just very easily conclude, hey, you just can't figure these things out. So you take that for what it's worth. All right? We know the truth won't be found on television. It's completely owned and operated as a mind control system for the elites. It's not in any textbook. You won't find it in academia. Okay? You're not going to find it in religious doctrine. I came to that conclusion. A lot of people disagree with me on that. So be it. Okay? They'll build their worldview and just leave it there. A whole bunch of you disagree with some of the conclusions I've drawn, and I can live with that. Okay? I don't agree with everyone I hear either. But I think the best thing is to just keep looking, keep learning. Okay? Keep building that picture. Now, here's why it's important. History has been wiped clean many times in the course of human history. Okay? They say that the victors get to write the history books. Well, that's happened quite a few times. All right? Maybe it's great disasters, maybe it's great wars that go back into, the prehistory. Okay? And mankind has had to start over again. Technology's been destroyed. I mention sometimes like the whole world knowledge. At the library in Alexandria got wiped clean. More recently, the Baghdad Museum got completely trashed. And the accumulation of knowledge over centuries and centuries where people can analyze it and try to, figure these things out just gets completely destroyed or suppressed, put away, okay? And I think we're coming up on a situation where that's about to happen again. We've got obvious clues where the government is going to try to censor the internet in a big way. So our freedom to actually explore it and figure things out is coming to a close. Maybe temporarily, maybe permanent. We don't know how this is all going to shake out for sure. But we can certainly influence it one way or another. That's why I believe it's important to grab as much of that information now, okay, as possible. Spread it as far as possible, okay? And just keep doing that process. And when people start figuring that things aren't as they appear, it undermines the credibility of government. It undermines the credibility of religion, okay? It undermines a lot of preconceived notions that are nothing short of mind control. And it will help free humanity in the future. I'm expecting some chaotic times in the near future. But when it all, blows over, things will have to be put back together again. And somebody's going to need to know the difference between right and wrong, which is knowable. Okay? Like I said, I use natural law, and I'm studying that myself because I do believe humanity can actually live in harmony with itself, if just some very basic rules are followed. It's not that complicated. And that's my point of view on it, okay? Seek out the truth. It's out there, and it is knowable. Have a nice day.